Viewer mailbag. We're talking about what are we talking about today?
I don't know. You're the one that gets these.
That's yeah. They like to talk to me. I like this. Dear Fi Guys, specifically Dom. Just kidding. Okay, so Dave Ramsey says I can withdraw 8% a year with my investments and never run out. That's the headline of the letter.
Okay, I know what he's. I know what this.
You know about this? You heard about this?
Yeah, it was very big in advisor circles. So.
The advisors they're getting their torches ready.
Yeah,
they're gonna mob on Ramsey headquarters. Dear Fi Guys, I hope you can help me because I'm getting conflicting messages and it's starting to discourage me and confuse me. I'm seeking clarification on a topic that you spoke about in an earlier podcast regarding the 4% rule. I've been exploring the concept of the 4% rule further since you talked about it, and it seems to make sense. Just for a little recap, what is the 4% rule?
The 4% rule is based off of the Trinity Study that says that someone can withdraw 4% of their assets per year and have a near reasonable or a near 100% amount of never running out of money, given that 25 times their annual expenses. Okay. So for quick math, say your annual expenses were $40,000. If you had $1 million invested in the market goes up on average between 7 and 9%. And we're also kind of like going to the lower end because the past 20 years has been up at 12%.
Yeah.
But we want to look at the whole time horizon, rather need it and not have it than have it and not need it. Or is that the right way? Have it and not need it.
Yes.
And need it and not have it.
You had it right.
I had it right.
Yeah, you had it right. We did that same thing off the podcast. We said that we were like, needed to have. Did we say that right? It's kind of like a tongue twister. It's like a brain.
But you kind of plan for the worst case scenario. That way you're never, because like, for people who are pursuing financial independence, like you're leaving work. Like you're going to start living off this nest egg. You don't want to do it. You don't want to leave it up to chance too much.
No.
You know, I wouldn't leave my financial independence up to a coin flip.
Yeah.
I don't think most people would.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so the Trinity Study, it's 25 times your annual income. You can withdraw 4% per year and have a 95% chance of never running out of money.
Okay.
So $40,000, you got $1 million in assets. It should grow at roughly 7% per year. Inflation's at 4%. You can withdraw. Inflation's 3%. You can withdraw 4% and statistically never run out of money.
I like that. I recently saw a Dave Ramsey video where he said that.
Right here.
I didn't want to put that because we already talked about the Trinity Study. I'll read it anyways. I have read various interpretations of the Trinity Study, which you said is cited as a foundational piece in supporting the 4% rule for retirement and planning. However, I recently saw a Dave Ramsey video where he said that you can take out 8% a year and never run out of money. Is that true? In the video, Dave said that mutual funds return 12% on average and inflation is 4%. So you can take out 7 to 8% per year and be guaranteed to not run out of money. Is that math correct? Allow me to share a bit of my background. I'm 28, single, and over the past few years, I've been committed to learning more about taking control of money and paying off debts and basically just investing.
That's awesome.
Awesome. I am driven by a desire for a greater autonomy and flexibility in my life. Since finding your podcast, the concept of FI has become a guiding principle, influencing my financial decisions and shaping my long-term goals. That's awesome. I love that. Thank you for considering my inquiry for the show. Sincerely, this is my favorite part of the pod. Sincerely, a confused listener trying to control their financial tale, but now wondering if 4% is a steadfast trail.
Love it.
I love it. I love that so much.
Well, okay, so I'm very aware of this video. I kind of didn't want to bring a lot of attention to it, and the reason for that is I find it to be a bit dangerous, first off, to talk negatively about another advisor, which we're not going to do.
We're not going to do it. Yeah,
but also, I didn't want other people to go and try to find this information and get misled down a wrong path.
Yeah, we don't got to call him Dave Ramsey.
Just call him John.
Have Hamsey.
Yeah, Have Hamsey.
Have
Hamsey said something.
Hamsey has said something.
Well, first off, to the listener, I want to congratulate you on taking control of your money.
That's big.
That is just amazing. And I'm so thankful to have such a driven and inquisitive person listening to our podcast. They mentioned that they're not only just listening to what we're saying, like I talked about before, but they're actually doing their own research.
And taking action.
Yeah,
that's the key.
When they looked at the Trinity Study themselves to actually do some information, it's so important that you actually do your own research and look at the nuances of any of these financial quote-unquote rules. because you need to see how do these apply to my life. That's what makes personal finance personal. So please keep it up. You're only 28 years old. I wish I had my stuff together. Like this at 28 years old.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But I am really glad that you reached out on this, even though okay, let's talk a little bit about the Dave Ramsey video.
Yeah.
So first off, I want to say that I think Dave Ramsey has helped millions of people get out of debt. And I very much respect the business that he's built. But just remember that nobody's perfect all the time, including myself. So in the video, Dave Ramsey says that the Trinity Study is made up by nerds in their mom's basements.
He loves to insult.
Yeah, I have a few problems with Dave Ramsey. I don't think it's right. Because a lot of his callers, they'll call in and I feel like he minimizes them and makes them feel stupid for asking questions.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I just for us here at the Five Guys, finance is already such a hard thing to talk about.
Yeah.
This should be a no judgment zone. And if I make someone feel bad, obviously they're not going to want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
And then that could just put them back into their shell, never going to fix the problem because I made them feel stupid, which I see Dave Ramsey do a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And it's not good to minimize people.
It's never good to belittle people.
No.
It's never okay to belittle people.
But it's him. It's his business. It's his brand. That's what he does.
Yeah.
But the Trinity Study was not made up by a bunch of nerds in their mom's basement. They might have been nerds because they were university professors.
Yeah.
But not in their mama's basement. So the Trinity Study was actually a research paper done in 1998 by 3 professors at Trinity University, written by Philip Cooley, Carl Hubbard, and Daniel Watts. And the real name of the article was Retirement Savings, Choosing a Withdrawal Strategy That is Sustainable. And then it was later named the Trinity Study from the school, and because that is a really long title that no one wants to say.
Yeah.
So there are not a bunch of nerds in their mama's basement. There is a lot of research, and there was actually a meta-analysis where they looked at other financial analyses to come up with their information. So it's some pretty deep research, and it basically makes the 4% rule is not a hard and fast rule that you should abide by, but it is a good starting point. So in the video, Dave said that mutual funds that he uses return between 11 and 12% on average. He also said that inflation is between 3 to 4% on average. So then he says if you minus 4 from 12, you get 8. And then he made the viewer seem like they were stupid, which is not kind.
It's not right.
No.
It's not right. It'd be like, it would be like if you guys wrote into Five Friday and be like, and we get to the end of it and be like, this idiot, this is a dummy, what are you doing? It's like, no, we would never do that.
No.
That's just not cool.
And this is the worst part, is that he did a straw man argument, and the math does make sense. If you minus 4 from 12, it is 8.
It is 8.
He is correct.
That is solid.
But the inputs he put in are fundamentally flawed.
Yes.
So if you're saying that the market returns 12% every year, then yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Yeah.
Over the last 20 years, the market has returned on average, very important right there, on average 12%. But that doesn't mean that it's been 12% every year. In 2021, it wasn't 12%. In 2022, it wasn't 12%. There's years that's going to be down negative 20. Then the next year is going to be up 4. Then the next year after that is going to be up 26.
Yeah.
And that's how those averages work. Mm-hmm. So it's very dangerous to say that it goes up every year at 12%.
Yeah.
And I know that Dave Ramsey is a smart guy, so I don't understand it. That's what really scares me. Okay.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
I think it's very important that whenever we're thinking about someone going and moving towards financial independence, we plan for the worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. So even in FI, the market return over the last 120 years with dividends reinvested is actually 9 to 10%.
Okay.
We use 7%. We take off 2 to 3% automatically.
Just to be safe.
Just to be safe. Plan for the worst. Expect the best. Hope for the best. And then inflation over the last 120 years has been 3%. So we use that 3%, and that gives us the 4% rule. And with 4%, you have a reasonable degree of certainty of never running out of money. But you can also even go down to 3% if you really want to be sure. Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
And then there's another thing that in financial terms, it's called sequence of return risk. So when you're taking money out at the beginning of once you reach financial independence, that's the most crucial part, and it makes a huge impact on your financial journey. So if you start taking money out when the market is down 5%, 10%, 20%, that's going to eat away at your ability and your statistical likelihood of actually being able to run that money out until the time that you die. That's why by Dave Ramsey saying you get 12% every year,
Like,
it could or it could not be.
yeah. It's just, you can't predict that.
You don't, yo.
You can't predict that.
No, I don't.
Every year, it's not going to go up 12%. On average, it might.
Yeah.
But you can't predict that.
And then in the video, after he made his emotional argument, he also said that he does with his own investments what he recommends, and that he puts it in high mutual funds that have a pretty high expense ratio. And I believe Dave Ramsey. I definitely believe that's what he does.
He's not lying, but he's also probably, he has a job.
Yep.
He's not pulling from it.
Nope. And that's the key difference there, is that he's telling people, oh, just put it inside there and start pulling it from there. But Dave Ramsey also says he's 63, he's not pulling any of his money. That fundamentally changes the game. Because it doesn't matter what his sequence return risk is, because he's not taking any money out. But for people who are reaching financial independence and they have that 30-year time horizon, by trying to work at a 12%, I'm going to take 8% out every year, it's very, very dangerous. I'm just going to go on a rant at this point. Okay, so.
What we're doing, the viewer mailbag
Yeah,
stuff?
so also in the video, his daughter was his co-host, and he just bulldozed her the entire time, because she was clearly uncomfortable in that video, because she's very smart as well. And she's also, like, I think she's a CFP, like she has some of the same designations I do, so she knows this stuff. And she was trying to like pull him back, like, well, Dad, maybe he meant 5% or 6%. And Dave's like, no, that's stupid. You're stupid. And
Even 5% is too little. 8%. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and
he was basically saying like you should pull out 8% of your investments every year, because the market goes up 12% and inflation is 4%.
And again, if he was right on all three counts, that would be fine math.
Yeah,
but he's not.
Yeah,
and he is on average. On average, is 20%, but it's not 12% every year. That's the scary part.
So if you started taking your 8% or 3% or 4%, whatever, on a down market, when the market's already down 20%,
you're eating away at your principal.
You're eating away. That's scary.
And then another thing, since I'm already on the rant, might as well keep on going.
Might as well, let's keep it.
He also threw his own employee under the bus.
That's wild.
So the caller that called in said, like, hey, I saw on your guys' site from one of his writers who actually writes to a younger demographic like we do, for people who are trying to reach financial independence and have a 30 or more year time horizon where they are not going to be bringing in extra money. Instead of saying like, hey, like my guy might have made a mistake, or you always just like, I understand that he has a brand to protect. I get that.
Yeah.
But he is the leader, and you always like you give your people the benefit of the doubt. And I just watched him throw his employee under the bus.
he annihilated him.
He annihilated him. He was like, if we're putting that crap out, then I'm gonna get him. And
it was kind of funny.
Oh man, it's just not good.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not ideal.
Yeah, because his employee said that a safe withdrawal rate is between 3 and 4%, which is
true.
100% correct.
Fact.
Because if you take 7% and you minus 3 or 4, then you get 3 or 4.
7% is not a safe withdrawal rate.
8%, yeah, 8% is not a safe withdrawal rate. It's very, very scary. But he did make a really good point that I do want to talk about.
Okay, yeah, give him some credit.
He did say that there is a lot of financial fear-mongering that make people believe that they are not able to feel good about their spending, or that they're not saved up enough. And I think that's 100% true. Too many people in the financial industry, in my career field, choose to try to scare people into saving more money, try to scare people into saying, you can't do this on your own without an advisor. And that's not true. I'm teaching you guys everything that you guys need to know to be good with money. And you don't need me if you don't want me. But if you do want some help, you can always reach out, and I'm here to guide and to give you the right direction. But I do think that he did bring up a good point there, that too many people are just trying to fearmonger and scare people from living their best life. And then, again, please do your own research on anything, including the 4% rule of thumb. It's not a hard and fast rule, but it does give you a direction, but it's not law. So I went ahead and I ran Dave Ramsey's 8% withdraw through my financial planning software, just to check out what would happen if you did withdraw 8% per year.
Okay, let's hear some numbers.
So if you were going to retire right now, Dom, you're very young.
25.
And I said, if you withdraw 8% per year, you have a 40% chance of succeeding. You also have a 60% chance of failing.
I'm a gambler. Give me the odds.
So 3 to 5 odds that you will fail.
That's not great. That's not great. When you're gambling with my freedom, basically, to, live my life. I don't like those odds.
No, neither would I. So over 30 years or more, if you took out 8%, you would have a 40% chance of succeeding, 60% chance of failing and having to go back to work.
Ugh, yuck.
But if you were to lower that 8% withdrawal by half to 4%,
Okay.
over 30 years, you would have a 95% chance of never running out of money. If you decrease that just by 1%, so saying I'm going to take 3% out,
Yeah.
you have nearly 100% certainty that you will never run out of money.
Nice.
Those are the kind of odds that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I like those odds.
I'd rather have 5% to negligible 1% of failing rather than 60% chance of failing.
Yeah. 60% is a lot.
Yeah.
That's a big number. Wow. So I don't want to run out of money. I like to have infinite money.
Yeah, and that's the point. And remember, people aren't robots. Like, if the market was down dramatically, like, I wouldn't expect someone to be like, well, I said I was going to pull the 10,000 out, so I got to pull the 10,000 out.
Yeah.
Obviously, they would try to go back to work or figure something out. But
Yeah.
telling somebody that you can withdraw 8% per year is just so dangerous, and it's going to send people down a wrong path where they're going to start under-saving for their retirement.
Yeah, I don't think people need encouragement to not work.
Yep.
We need to encourage people to save.
Yeah, to save more.
Not to spend more, to save more.
Yeah, and there's like in Buddhism, there's something known as the middle path of like where either you could, in this example, you could save too much and just be a stickler your entire life and never spend money.
Yeah.
Or you can spend no money and have nothing. Two very big dichotomies that you don't want to be on either end of, so you try to find the middle path. And that middle path is a mix of both, where you're spending for today, having fun today, but also planning for tomorrow. You don't need to be on either extreme. It's a false dichotomy.
Interesting. Yeah.
It kind of comes to like for Buddhism, they talk about eating. So like you can either never eat and die, or you can overeat and die. You want to find the middle way, where you're eating enough to sustain yourself, but not enough. And that's the balance of all of life, including working out. Everything has the dichotomy of each other, where you need to find the middle. And then if you guys need a customized wealth plan, you can always reach out to me, chris@monzonwealth.com. You can go to monzonwealth.com and let me know if you guys need any help. I'd be happy to send you in the right direction. If I'm not the right advisor for you, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
We're not really here to sell you anything.
No.
But I am here to try to help as many people as I possibly can. That's the reason we do this podcast.
Yeah, we don't have a course. We don't have a Patreon. We don't have anything. We don't even have merch. We're literally not trying to sell you on a single thing, but all we are trying to do is help you.
Maybe one day we'll come up with that
I
stuff.
think a course would be kind of
I think a course. Now that you just said that, I was like, dude.
We need a course.
We should
have a course. With like a back end where it's like you can constantly communicate with us.
I've been thinking about a subscription model.
Yeah, like a Discord where you could just like talk to us and talk with other people in the FI community.
Dude, I love it.
That's kind of sick.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. I don't know how to do it, but we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We're gonna commit to lifelong learning. We're gonna learn how to do it.
Yeah. And you know what could be cool is like inside our like FI community, we have like a separate learning section where it's like everybody's like learning something new. It's like, oh, yo, this week, this is what I learned.
Yeah, we could talk about like credit cards, stuff like that.
Yeah,
everything is dropped in there.
But like, it doesn't even have to like just be finance. Like, it could be like, oh, this is what I learned in this area of my life.
I love that, and then everyone can start to learn from each other.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, I don't know how to
community of learners.
I have no idea how to do it, but we're gonna
figure it out. We'll figure it out.